Big major changes coming to the Trump administration team, guys. JD Vance has just let us know so much that is happening with President Trump, guys. Elon Musk and the whole dream team coming together for the midterms and the big new plan that is taking place right now, guys. This is going to generate a huge red wave. Not only is Elon Musk the richest guy in the world, but JD Vance just said he wants Elon Musk to come back into the cabinet team to make sure the MAGA movement not only wins, but through the midterms makes the biggest impact for America, guys. They are wanting to use Elon Musk's platform X to make sure to get the message out that Trump is always going to put America first, but all the changes that I'm about to tell you guys are literally going to knock your socks off. This is huge. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Vice President JD Vance has said that he expects a lot of people to get indicted as a result of the DOJ's investigations into Barack Obama and the other members of the former president's administration over the debunked Russia collusion claims, and he wants the message to go out on X, Elon Musk's platform, to make sure that everybody sees the truth. Guys, this is what I'm talking about. This is so massive, so powerful. Let me know your thoughts in the comments because, again, too, when we can get the message out there, when we can get the truth out there, that's when America is winning. Rudy Giuliani says that Obama is likely to get behind the Russia coup once he got it up and running, but the idea itself appears to have started in Hillary Clinton's camp. So again, everybody is in on it, guys, that we are showing that JD Vance, Trump, and even Elon Musk, it's not about just getting the justice, it's getting the message out there. And today, guys, this is one of the biggest days, one of the biggest messages that Trump has given since he's become president. Liberation Day is here, and Trump said not just for Washington, D.C., where he is having the National Guard come in, as much as 1,000 guards come in to protect the capital of the United States, but he's also signaled a possible federal takeover of New York, Chicago, and other cities similar to DC. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you support Trump taking drastic measures to take over the major cities to reduce the crime and make America safe again? Not only that, President Trump has invoked Section 740 of the D.C. Home Rules Act, placing the Washington, D.C. Police Department under federal control. So again, guys, this is some big stuff. And the left is going to say, oh, he's being a dictator. He's trying to take over everything. You're talking about bringing safety. People that get mugged, people that get robbed, people that get hurt, killed, all this stuff Trump is trying to stop. Pete Hegseth has announced that the National Guard has officially begun mobilizing in Washington, D.C. He said you will see them flowing into the streets of Washington in the coming weeks. I don't know about you, but I'm okay with Trump going through and cleaning house, putting the National Guard in these big cities and showing them what justice really looks like to hold people accountable. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. We also have, guys, where a federal judge has denied the Justice Department's motion to unseal grand jury materials related to the sex trafficking cases against the dead trafficker Jeffrey Epstein and his longtime accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell. So now we know a federal judge has just blocked the Epstein files from being released. So we're going to keep up to date with that. But this is a big one, guys. Listen up. This is so huge. The Treasury and all the whole departments that have to deal with money going out from USAID have just found out that George Soros, over his entire lifetime, has received about $260 million from the American taxpayer. This has been used for protests. This has been used to fund NGOs. And now they're alleging that some of it has been used to bring in drugs into the United States, allegedly, and to pay off cartels. And Trump is cracking down finally. Guys, listen, $250 million, they said right now, was given to George Soros and his whole people, and that they allegedly have been giving that money to cartels and whatnot, and Trump is cracking down, and we're about to show you in a moment. This is some big, massive news, guys. Want to say thank you to everybody who is watching, guys. We got a big show for you. A lot of breaking news today. Want to say thank you to all of our members of the channel, those subscribers. If you're not subscribed, please consider joining our family here at TrueLife News. We want you here, guys. We appreciate you so much. We just can't say thank you enough for all your support. We just want to say thank you to all of our members of the channel, those that give a super chat donation. Robert Cash, show Robert Cash some love in the chat, everybody. And if you don't mind doing us a huge favor of hitting that thumbs up like button, guys, thank you so much for all your support. It really does help out so much with getting this truth out there, growing this channel. I mean, the algorithms just love the thumbs up like button, so we really appreciate when you support that. But again, guys, this is the big thing. When they find out that so much money of your tax dollars has been funneled to cartels and NGOs and all these things to literally hurt America, Trump is finally cracking down, guys. And this is some big breaking news that just got announced today, just moments ago. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Check this out.
Also, this story, President Trump reportedly authorizing military action against drug cartels. So back in January, Trump designated them as foreign terrorist organizations, blaming them for the flood of deadly fentanyl that killed more than 265,000 Americans over just the past 4 years. William Lajeunesse live in LA with more. Hi, William.
Good morning, Dana. You know, the question is, how could the U.S. military be used against the cartels? Drone strikes on labs, black ops on cartel leaders, maybe the Navy intercepting ships or planes carrying narcotics, and we may never hear about it, right? But this started, as you mentioned, when Trump designated those 8 cartels as FTOs, or foreign terrorist organizations.
People have wanted to do this for years. So they are now designated as terrorist organizations, foreign, and Mexico probably doesn't want that. But we have to do what's right. They're killing our people.
So following that, Trump reportedly set up a defense and DHS working group, not just to go after the money or sharing intel with Mexico, but direct military action, not just on the border, but inside Latin America where the cartels operate.
Their behavior is going to have to change one way or another, but it allows us to now target what they're operating and to use other elements of American power, intelligence agencies, the Department of Defense, whatever, to target these groups if we have an opportunity to do it. We have to start treating them as armed terrorist organizations, not simply drug dealing organizations.
So in the 1980s, the U.S. helped Colombia battle the Medellin and Cali cartels. President Bush in '89 sent the Marines in to arrest Panamanian strongman Manuel Noriega, who'd been indicted for trafficking in the U.S. But with fentanyl still flooding the U.S., 1,300 Americans dying of overdoses every week under President Biden, this administration wants to do more.
Wow, guys, I'm telling you, all this stuff comes from this right here, guys. This is what's been revealed today. That terrorist organizations funding one another, this is huge right here. George Soros received $260 million from USAID. They're alleging he's one of the world's #1 sponsor of terror, using the funds to spread chaos, incite riots, promote open borders, topple governments, fuel terrorism. And this is where it all stops, guys. And this is why you're seeing Trump do the things that he's doing right now, is because, again, too, when they added it all up, how is it so crazy, guys, that so much of our hard-earned money that we worked for, that we paid into taxes, was literally given to somebody who was trying to hurt America? Like, this is mind-blowing. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. I appreciate that we finally have a president who has a backbone to stand up for the American people across the United States to make America safe again. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. If you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support. This is huge. We're finally seeing the escalation that Trump is not playing around across the board. And what I love is that it's not just him. He's invoking the 740 of the D.C. Home Rule Act, placing it on Washington, D.C. first, but he said that he may go through other cities to make sure that every single major city in America is protected. And listen to this, guys, because it's not just him, it's the pit bulls around him.
We all want the same thing. We all want a safe city. We want to save capital. We want to be able to bring our families here. We want to be able to come and enjoy the history that makes this place great. And unfortunately, we are not in that position right now. And Mr. President, I want to thank you for taking the step that we need right now to make criminals understand that they are not going to get away with it anymore. And I'm not going to stand here and go over and over the cases. But what I can tell you is this. I see too much violent crime being committed by young punks who think that they can get together in gangs and crews and beat the hell out of you or anyone else. They don't care where they are. They can be in DuPont Circle, but they know that we can't touch them. Why? Because the laws are weak. I can't touch you if you're 14, 15, 16, 17 years old and you have a gun. I convict someone of shooting another person with an illegal gun on a public bus in the chest, intent to kill. I convict him. And you know what the judge gives him? Probation. Says you should go to college.
Guys, did you just hear that? This, to me, guys, is the common sense finally coming out and letting everybody know how stupid the laws are when you have a young thug who literally shoot somebody in the chest and then nothing happens. Probation. Like, this is where accountability needs to happen. Let me know your thoughts, because I'm so happy that we're having people not only stand up like Judge Jeanine Pirro, but also they're working to change the laws to make people accountable.
We need to go after the D.C. Council and their absurd laws. We need to get rid of this concept of, no cash bail. We need to recognize that the people who matter are the law-abiding citizens, and it starts today. But it's not going to end today, because the president is going to do everything we need to do to make sure that these emboldened criminals understand we see you, we're watching you, and we're going to change the law to catch you. And my final note is this. These kids understand that the jurisdiction is through the state attorney general, Brian Schwab. I did a poster of the young man from Doge who was beaten bloody with a severe concussion, a broken nose. And then I did a poster of what happens to those kids, because I can't arrest them, I can't prosecute them. They go to family court and they get to do yoga and arts and crafts.
Wow.
Enough. It changes today.
Guys, everything that we're showing you, so much corruption that's taken place. That's why I love that J.D. Vance came out and said, Vice President J.D. Vance said he expects a lot of people to get indicted as a result of the Department of Justice investigating Barack Obama and other members of the former president's administration over the since debunked Russia collusion claims. Guys, this is massive. This is huge right here. When we get accountability, this is where things start to change. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. George Massalas, thank you so much for the super chat, brother. Let's go. He said, God bless our president and God bless America. Denise Clark, OG of the channel, said, glad to see Soros getting more exposed. Let's keep Trump and his agenda safe. Sending love to our great community. I love it. Y'all show Denise Clark some love in the chat. Guys, everything that you're seeing here, we are literally exposing it at the highest level, and it's across the board of things that are coming out right now that we are seeing. Holy smokes, are we truly exposing the USAID, all these things, money that's been given to people that literally terrorizing the United States, our people, paying off these rioters, protesters? Listen to this.
Yes, 37 times. The Democracy Playbook 2025 by Norm Eisen references USAID 37 times and includes the power of USAID to fund media allies for the blob. They cite USAID's role in supporting groups like the Corruption Reporting Project in Ukraine, which ended up indirectly kicking off the 2019 Trump impeachment by trying to dig up dirt on Rudy Giuliani using U.S. taxpayer funds to do so, and then using that as part of the basis for the Trump impeachment. USAID has been the Norm Eisen playground. it's been the Norm Eisen slush fund to run money to media organizations, to street protesters, to bribe governments in order to control the prosecutors. We saw, for example, the $1 billion USAID loan guarantee, which was weaponized by Vice President Joe Biden to remove Victor Shokin, who was investigating Burisma. And it's no surprise that Norm Eisen was representing the federal employees trying to stop the shutdown of USAID through the AFL-CIO lawsuit against the Trump administration. Norm Eisen also led the cabal with the lawsuits against shutting down the State Department's Global Engagement Center. This is a State Department USAID NATO network, and this is why you see the references to the EU all over this as well. The EU has the biggest censorship tool in human existence at its fingers now, as just July 1st, just over a month ago, their code of practice on disinformation became mandatory. And the goal of it is to control the speech within America by forcing companies to either censor speech in America, that the EU says, or lose 550 million customers of those social media companies in the EU. Norm Eisen knows about this leverage. He was an integral part in the creation of these regulatory tools. He's had his eye on it for 8 years now at this point and works very closely with these same networks. On the point about the critical infrastructure, this was a legacy of Russiagate. On January 6, 2017, which was the real January 6, when something that actually changed and undermined a government was done. That was the day that the intelligence community assessment, giving the intelligence community imprimatur to saying that Russia hacked our elections and Russia stole the 2016 election. Just an hour after that came out, the Department of Homeland Security under Barack Obama designated elections, the metaphysical concept of elections, as critical infrastructure, giving the U.S. federal government jurisdiction over elections, which it had not had in 2.5 centuries. Elections were always controlled by the state governments. All 50 states, both Democrats and Republicans, all 50 state Secretary of States opposed outgoing DHS Secretary Jed Johnson's designation of elections as critical infrastructure, giving DHS the power to essentially control and administer the voting machines used in all 50 states, as well as a variety of other election processes. Why do we still have elections designated as critical infrastructure when we know this only happened because of the lie that Russia stole the 2016 election, and so we need a federal government to defend against this phantom Russia threat? This was something all 50 states opposed. The only reason that the states ended up coming on board with it was for two reasons. You had the first DHS secretary. Trump ended up firing 6 different DHS secretaries during the first 4 years of his first term. But the initial DHS secretary ratified it before he became the White House chief of staff, and they paid the states to go along with it. They opened up a giant...
Guys, do you hear this stuff? Like, isn't it crazy? That's Mike Benz. That's one of the most biggest reporters out there on the inside, figuring out all this stuff that's going on. And just like you're seeing right here, top DOJ lawyer from the DOJ warns that feds could face criminal civil rights charges for the weaponization. So many things have changed because of the lies that began with the Russia collusion, the lies that started with Hillary Clinton's campaign, their Steele dossier, Obama, all this, and look what we're dealing with now. And this is what I love, guys. Today, Liberation Day, Trump has not only announced that they're going to make the Capitol safe, that they're going to look to go after other major cities to make them safe as well, but the DOJ lawyers are on it to hold people accountable. Let me know your thoughts in the comments if you appreciate this, guys. If you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, this is massive. The more and more that we're starting to see the Trump cabinet team, Judge Jeanine Pirro, take place, they are making things happen. Robert Cash, thank you so much, brother, for the super chat. Let's go. He said, about time the laws need to change. Jogo, thank you so much for the super chat. I love it. Said, I love the changes that are coming out this cabinet. Now let's follow through with everything to stop this madness. Accountability at its finest. 100%. Guys, if we do not get accountability, it will never stop. Y'all show Jogo some love in the chat, as well as Denise Clark some love in the chat. Because again, guys, it's not just about what's happening on the inside with all the DOJ, all these states. This entire United States is being unraveled right now. And I just want to say, before we go into our next thing, guys, I have learned so much about the things that have come across that have hurt Americans that I literally cannot even believe how much corruption there's been. But guess what? The United States has filed False Claims Act complaint against 3 national health insurance companies and 3 brokers alleging unlawful kickbacks and discriminations against disabled Americans. This is insane, guys. This is huge. What you're seeing on the screen, it's all accountability. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And this is actually a big moment, guys, for the channel. We have been on YouTube for about 4.5 years. And I've always wanted to bring the truth. I always want to make sure that you're seeing the entirety of what is an America First policy. And we've had a lot of people that have approached us to want to be sponsors of the channel, and we've always said no until now. We have officially partnered with AskChapter.org. And what they do, guys, is what you're seeing on the screen. They fight against this. They help everyday Americans be taken care of when it comes to Medicare. And this is huge. So now that we've partnered with them, I want to do, this is our first ever, guys, on this channel. And we're going to keep pushing this. You can go right here. We have partnered with them where they're going to take care of you big time, guys. Right now, I've looked into them. I've seen what goes on with Medicare. And I could not even believe how many dang Medicare plans are out there nationwide. How complicated it was. I reached out to my mom, reached out to my grandmas and said, hey, y'all are on Medicare. What's it like? You had to do this and this. And they said, it is horrible when it comes to picking the right plan. It is horrible. It's so crazy. You probably can put it in the chat, guys, and let me know how it is. But if you're over 65 and you're on Medicare, guys, I recommend that you go with Get Chapter. You can call this number right here, down here. Tell them Joel sent you from TrueLife News. They're the only Medicare advisors that literally compare every single Medicare plan nationwide. They're going to do a really good job to take care of you, make sure that you get the right coverage. And this is what I love, guys, with going with them. They have saved people. They have saved seniors on average $1,100, guys. And we're going to keep pushing this all the way throughout the year, guys. Because again, I want you to be taken care of. I want to make sure that you, whenever it comes to what you paid into the system, that you're getting the help that you need. So guys, if you want to be taken care of, if you're already on Medicare, call this number below right here. Tell them that Joel from TrueLife News sent you. They're going to take care of you. And again, it always goes back to what you're seeing on the screen. When the United States files False Claims Act complaint against 3 national health insurance companies and 3 brokers alleging unlawful kickbacks and discrimination against disabled Americans, guys, it's too messed up. And we got to make sure that you're being taken care of. You're partnering with the right people so that we stop ripping off Americans. And that's why, again, guys, call this number. I have the link in the description. You can go check out my stuff with Get Chapter. Call them up. They're going to take care of you. And just want to say thank you to everybody that supports this, because what we're about to go into next, we are literally revolutionizing America, guys. Listen to this, because it is not just happening with Trump's cabinet team. It's across the United States. Check this out.
Illinois or to California, be reminded that the FBI's assistant has reportedly been enlisted, and their powers are not confined to any singular state's boundaries.
The gerrymander wars are heating up big time. There was no quorum in the Texas State House today to get those 5 new Republican seats. That's because the 50 Texas state Democrats were a no-show, blowing off the deadline to come back in the face of some pretty serious consequences. $500 a day fines, no more direct deposits, and the threat of arrest, with the FBI apparently now on their tails. California Governor Gavin Newsom is about to hold a news conference with some of the Texas holdouts, following the lead of other blue enclaves, Illinois and New York, even though critics point out those states have a way worse gerrymandered maps. However, New York Governor Kathy Hochul still insisting Democrats are the ones who play by the rules.
Wow.
I've never been a hand-wringer on the sidelines. I'm a street fighter from Buffalo, and my blood is boiling over this. And so is the other governors, the other Democratic governors. If we allow the Republicans to get away with what they're attempting to do, this legal insurrection of our U.S. Capitol, then we'll have a generation of redistricted, gerrymandered seats that are skewed against Democrats. And when will we ever get the balance of power, at least in Washington?
Guys, can you believe that these people literally say this with a straight face? It makes no sense whatsoever that they literally will sit there and say that that the Republicans are trying to gerrymander and it's going to just tear up America and make it totalitarian and all this. It's like, are you kidding me? Look at the biggest blue states. No photo ID. So when it comes to elections, they never know if any illegals or any non-citizens are voting because they don't even check ID. Are you freaking kidding me? And then they want to say that, this is against America and this is gonna tear down America. No, it's a bunch of you know what. Let me know your thoughts in the comments because I'm so sick of hearing lies, just blatant lies from these dang Democrats.
Democrats are about to bring some nukes to this street fight. One of the Texas runaways, State Representative Jean Wu, is likening the situation to a Cold War.
This is very dangerous. That everything we're doing right now smacks of the Cold War. And what we're talking about is launching nukes at each other. And ultimately, it will be the American people who are hurt. Democrats have no choice but to respond to this in the same way. If you launch missiles at us, we have to launch missiles at you, and it will never end.
5 new ruby red Republican seats would surely sweeten the pot for President Trump, who has now reached 200 days in office. But critics like Stacey Abrams, not fans.
Among the many other vile things that Donald Trump has been called, including tyrant, liar, scam artist, he is also an aspiring dictator, supported and
Remember, guys, this is the same lady that got a $2 billion with a B, guys, not an M, a B, $1 billion from the Biden administration that got taken away by the Trump administration when they looked at the money and the records of how much that this organization that she was over had only been up for 2 years and only had $100 in their account when they were awarded a $2 billion USAID grant. Don't tell me, like when it comes to corruption, this is blatant corruption right there, guys. And what I love is we call it out. If you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, man, I'm ready for them to just, we're going to keep giving it to them, guys.
Like a puppet by a cabal of tech billionaires, Christian nationalists, and xenophobes who all have his ear and understand government a lot better than he does.
Pretty big accusations, but I didn't hear those words used when Democrats were gerrymandering their states.
No, of course not. I love that Republicans finally are playing hardball with direct deposit because now they're stranded without money. And so how are they going to get money? They're going to have to panhandle in Chicago. You could probably make
guys, and what they're talking about is this is huge. And this is, and again, when I show you this stuff, guys, this is massive. That right now, every single Democrat, of course, we all know when most of the time when you get paid, they do what? They send it through direct deposit. Well, guess what? They've cut that off. They've cut off their direct deposit, so they're not getting paid anymore. They've made sure that if any of them steps foot inside the state of Texas, they're going to be locked up. They're going to be arrested. And J.D. Vance, guys, let me tell you this. They're making such big moves right now that you know when J.D. Vance comes out and says that Elon Musk is going to be coming back into the MAGA movement by the midterms, in other words, of them working together, this is going to make America great And not just for what we're doing right now, but for what's to come. Because again, too, the House Oversight Committee, all the stuff that's coming, guys, even Trump weighed in and said this is great news that the House Oversight wants to gather evidence that could overturn Biden's pardons and executive orders. We got an update from James Comer, who is over all this stuff, guys, and that's what I love. We're bringing you straight the people that are literally dealing with all these committees, the hearings, the investigations, straight from their mouth, guys. Listen to this.
Vice President J.D. Vance moments ago applauding the House Oversight Committee subpoenas to former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, along with 8 others. The Oversight Committee also continuing its investigation into Joe Biden's mental fitness and the use of the auto pen during Biden's presidency. Former Biden senior advisor Anita Dunn testified last Thursday, telling the committee that Biden's inner circle came to the conclusion that he should not take a cognitive test, even though she said they all felt that, he would pass one easily. Earlier in the week, a former Biden Deputy Chief of Staff, Bruce Reed, told the committee ex-White House doctor Kevin O'Connor dismissed cognitive tests as, quote, meaningless. Joining me now in this Sunday Morning Futures exclusive is the chairman of the House Oversight Committee, Kentucky Congressman James Comer. Mr. Chairman, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
Good morning, Maria.
I want to first talk about these subpoenas to Hillary and Bill Clinton. When are you expecting them to come in to testify under oath?
We've asked them to come in October. We've given them specific dates. What makes these subpoenas special and historical is that they came as a result of a bipartisan vote. The Democrats made a motion, like we knew they would, to subpoena the Epstein documents, which Republicans support. Scott Perry from Pennsylvania amended that motion to include subpoenas for both Bill and Hillary Clinton, as well as 6 former attorneys generals, and the Democrats voted for it. Now they're scared and trying to say they didn't vote for it, but they did. It's on record, and that helps us in court. If the Clintons try to fight this subpoena, which we presume they will, this subpoena came as a result of a bipartisan vote, which has never happened before in the House Oversight Committee. So we're looking forward to hearing from the Clintons. The American people want to know what went on Epstein Island. We know Clinton went there many times. We just want to ask Bill Clinton what he saw when he was there, and who all was involved.
Guys, again, I want to show you this. The reason we're bringing this stuff up is because we make sure, guys, we're not, all this stuff that's happening, we're not letting anything go. We're making sure that we keep you up to date with all the stuff that has come out to make sure that we don't let anything pass by, because this is massive, what you're about to see next. Thank you so much, Hammer of Justice. Let's go. Y'all show Hammer Justice some love in the chat. Said if gerrymandering is illegal, let's make a law that makes it illegal then. Oh wait, who would that hurt? I feel like it kind of hurt both sides now. Y'all show Hammer of Justice some love in the chat, because this is the actual numbers that have come out over the entire Epstein interest now. Guys, I'm telling you, so much news is always happening. If we don't keep up with it, it'll go by and nobody's going to be held accountable. Listen to this.
New this morning, J.D. Vance, in a new interview, is pushing back against the criticism coming at the Trump administration for how they have handled or fumbled the Epstein saga. The vice president now trying to shift the narrative and blame Democrats.
I laugh at the Democrats who are now all of a sudden so interested in the Epstein files. For 4 years, Joe Biden and the Democrats did absolutely nothing about this story.
And there are new numbers this morning showing something of a shift in how Americans are feeling about this. Harry Anton, here to help. What are you seeing in these numbers?
Yeah, I would say that this is, from at least a political point of view, quickly turning into a dud of a story. What am I talking about here?
Which is wild.
Which is wild.
This has been for 3 weeks.
Exactly. Now. Take a look here. Google searches for Epstein down 89% versus just 3 weeks ago. Falling through the floor. It is no longer the top term searched alongside Donald Trump's name. That's been trading off between tariffs and Vladimir Putin, with obviously the meeting coming up later this week. But at this particular point, the American people's interest in this story it's quickly becoming something of a nothing burger.
So out of sight, out of mind, maybe, is applying here a little bit. But has it impacted, have you seen numbers that have impacted Trump's popularity, favorability, anything?
No, not really. I mean, take a look here. Let's take a look at the overall numbers. Trump's approval rating in July of 2025, it was 45%. It's still well within that margin of error here at 44%. And you compare that to where he was in his first term at this point. He was at 37%. So he's 7 points higher, very much in a different political universe now, significantly higher in terms of his overall approval rating than he was at this point in his first term. And more than that, among Republicans, his approval rating is near a record high, hovering right at about that 90% mark. So no, he hasn't lost any of that base. And when it comes to that center of the electorate, he's basically holding on there. And his overall approval rating, 44%, is pretty gosh darn good for him considering where he was at this point in term number one.
What do you think is behind it? Why there hasn't been more movement?
Yeah, why hasn't there been more movement? I think this is pretty simple. Take a look here. Nation's top issue is the Epstein case. This is the number of respondents. This isn't the percentage of respondents. This is the number of respondents. In our last CNN poll, look at this. 0 respondents said that the Epstein case was the top issue. How about among independents? 0 independents said that. And among Republicans, and therefore overall, just a single one. So yes, there used to be a lot of interest in this story, but the bottom line is that even amongst those who had high interest in this story, it wasn't something that they thought was all that important. And as I said at the beginning, the interest in this story has fallen off the table.
Guys, let me know, because I don't know if I believe this, that all this stuff having to do with the Epstein, with all that stuff that's going on is true. I feel like people really want these dang celebrities, elitists, to be held accountable. And now that an Epstein grand jury materials won't be released after a federal judge has denied the DOJ's request to unseal, it just makes me feel like they're trying to protect elitists. They're trying to protect big names that are really in the deep state. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Tammy Ash, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Said for your charity this month, y'all show Tammy some love in the chat, everybody. And don't forget to show Joe Go some love, as well as Denise Clark some love in the chat. Again, we're getting into the actual, like, I'm showing you everything, guys, like, of what is going on, and again, too, it's not just about, we're hungry to see people get into jail. I just want to see people held accountable.
There's a lot of information to be gained from an interview under oath with Hillary and Bill Clinton, that's for sure. Would you also get into Russia collusion?
Well, we would like to ask about that. I'm sure their lawyers are going to be negotiating the terms. The subpoena was issued a few days before the Russia collusion story really broke. But certainly we're going to ask as many questions as we can ask. This is an opportunity to get the Clintons under oath, which people have been trying to do for a long time. So hopefully we'll be able to do that. We'll get answers to a lot of questions that the American people have.
So you say that they're going to be fighting this. You think this is going to go through the courts?
I would be shocked if it did not go to the courts. But again, one thing that stands out is this bipartisan vote. We've never had that. I've been chairman of the House Oversight Committee for a year and a half, Maria, and I've never lost a subpoena battle. This is the toughest battle that we're going to face is getting the Clintons in here. But again, that bipartisan vote, and I want to thank the Democrats on the House Oversight Committee for voting for that subpoena.
Well, I mean, look, another tough battle that you've got in front of you is getting to the bottom of President Biden's 4 terms, 4 years in office. And what was going on there? I mean, it was all very simple and clear for everyone to see that he was, struggling in terms of his mental capacity and this use of the auto pen. Who was running the country for the last 4 years before President Trump?
Well, it looks like a very small inner circle of no-name unelected bureaucrats. They had a tight reign over Joe Biden. They didn't allow a lot of cabinet secretaries like Pete Buttigieg to have access to Joe Biden. They certainly didn't allow the White House press corps to have access to Joe Biden. When he did come out, he was very scripted. And what we've learned is even when the American people realized after the Hur report and after the disastrous debate performance against Donald Trump that Joe Biden was in mental decline, his staff, we learned from Anita Dunn this week, made the decision not to give Joe Biden a cognitive test. Even even when the American people were demanding a cognitive test, they made the decision, the ones who were running the country, that they were not going to give Joe Biden a cognitive test. And I think that is pretty overwhelming evidence that they feared what the results of that test would be.
So what do you think you will find out about who was running the country? I mean, after the Robert Hur interview was released, just a day or so later, we learned that Joe Biden had prostate cancer. But, you know, I've got the Kevin O'Connor medical report in front of me right now. There's no mention of any mental decline. There's no mention of any prostate cancer. Why suddenly do we learn this after the Robert Hur tapes were released?
Well, we've watched the Hur tapes, and they're a disaster. You understand watching the tapes why Robert Hur wrote that. I mean, that was scary. If Americans could watch that tape, and hopefully we can make that public, they would be concerned that this guy was president of the United States, had control of the nuclear football.
Codes.
But at the end of the day, with Dr. O'Connor, we deposed him. We brought him in for a deposition. He pled the fifth. We asked Dr. O'Connor, were you ever told to lie about Joe Biden's health? He couldn't answer that question. He pled the fifth to avoid self-incrimination. What we found about Dr. O'Connor is he declined doing a cognitive test. He supposedly said a cognitive test was not important, even though every president in my lifetime has taken cognitive tests. And we also believe that he supposedly did not check the president for prostate cancer. Every man over 50, including myself, I'm 52, takes a PSA test every time they get blood work done. So the story doesn't add up with respect to Dr. Connor. It reeks of a political cover-up, a cover-up of a president in declining health.
So do you think...
Guys, let me... And what I love, too, is that you cannot deny... Like, we're past the point of, well, it could be this or it could be that. No, we are past that point, and everybody knows President Biden wasn't really the president. Everybody knows that there's people that are trying to be protected by this stupid Epstein materials in the list. We know that there's been the deep state that's involved with trying to make sure that they keep Americans under their thumb and they control every aspect of it. But again, when you see a federal judge denying the DOJ's request to unseal the Epstein grand jury materials, we need to hold these judges accountable. We need to make sure that in every single facet that we start cleaning out the deep state like never before. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, it really does bother me how many times we see opposition to all the stuff where Trump is trying to make sure, putting Americans first, cleaning out America, and again, too, the updates of how many dang illegal immigrants are in the United States, got Medicare, got Medicaid, got Social Security. What Trump is trying to do with that is literally going to change America forever. Listen to this.
Here with analysis on this, Newt Gingrich, Fox News political analyst, former Speaker of the House. Newt, so now Carville's like, we can't win apparently without D.C. and Puerto Rico and court packing, but he thinks they'll win the House, Senate, and the presidency. Your reaction to all this? Good to see you back.
Well, you know, James Carville made his reputation helping elect Bill Clinton in 1992 with a sign in the campaign office that said, "It's the economy, stupid." Well, guess what? If President Trump continues between the one big beautiful bill, cutting taxes, cutting regulations, the number of countries committed to investing in America, the number of sales deals around the world, if we end up with a great economy next summer, these people can go around and say anything they want to, but the American people are going to say, you know, I'd much prefer a Trump boom to the Democrats' gloom. And that's what we're getting. You listen to the Democrats, they're either rabid socialists like Mondami in New York or the new candidate for mayor in Minneapolis, or they're people who are totally negative. They have no positive ideas, no solutions. And the fact is, Trump survived. Trump won the election, actually got far more votes than Kamala Harris. The Republicans won the Senate. The Republicans won the House. That is what a democracy produces. And of course, like the Republicans in the early 1930s under Franklin Roosevelt,
The Democrats are going off the deep end, getting more and more bitter and more isolated.
At the same time, President Trump is urging a change to how the census is done, making the argument that the lawful person should not include illegal aliens. Newt, a lot of Americans are shocked to even hear that illegal aliens are counted in the census since they cannot vote. Your reaction to Trump's new demand there?
Well, look, I think it's very reasonable to suggest that you have to be in the United States legally in order to be counted. And I think that's a good fight, and I think the American people will be with us. Remember, as you just...
Guys, but remember, it's all about the narrative. Like, what I'm about to show you is so mind-blowing, guys. Look at this. Can you believe that a institution as large as the MSNBC would allow and put out an article that says Trump's demand for a new census is unconstitutional and impossible? Are you kidding me? So to require for somebody to be a citizen is unconstitutional for a census? To require that somebody actually be here legally is unconstitutional and impossible? It's like, this is why, guys, I love what we do every day. I love showing you both sides of the stories of what the left is trying to put out versus what the right and the truth. Not just the right, because a lot of stuff on the right may be not the truth too, but I want to show you the truth of where people stand at and what we have to fight against for an America First agenda, an America First policy. You can't make this stuff up, guys. This is literally from MSNBC that they say that Trump demanding a census is unconstitutional and impossible. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. I'm just so sick of seeing such anti-America First propaganda and policies out there.
Amazing segment, I have to say, Laura. You were as good as you've ever been, and as sensitive and as concerned in that segment on Cincinnati. The Democrats have become the party of illegal immigrants, criminals, corruption. It's astonishing to watch them. So they're going to go out now and make the argument, no, we have to count every person who's here, even if they're here illegally, even if they're a criminal from Venezuela or from El Salvador. They have to be counted. Well, strikes me that's one more example of the Democrats rushing to a very tiny minority position that just plain makes them sound weird.
Newt, as always, so great to see you.
And again, too, guys, it's most common sense people will say, hey, we probably should count only Americans. And that's why, guys, I just can't stop showing you what's on the screen of Trump is winning 16-0 at the Supreme Court level. When things get fought and they get pushed all the way to the Supreme Court, bam, Trump wins and has not lost one bit. This just shows you where the agendas fully lie at trying to stall, trying to keep Trump from fulfilling an America First policy, and it's right there. Go fact check me, guys. This is beautiful, and this is what I love, is that the people around Trump, Stephen Miller, all these guys, everything that they're fighting with is to try to remove all the corruption. Guys, listen to this, because again, too, this happened to Trump. This happened to a lot of people. And we are so thankful that we have pit bulls that are fighting this now.
Thanks very much. So, Steve, I want something else. Something we talked about in last night's show. Debanking. I mean, it's the most extraordinary story that Mr. Trump was talking on one of the networks yesterday, that J.P. Morgan Chase actually said to him, you got to get all your bank accounts out in 20 days. Debanking. Reputational risk threats or some garbage like that. So the rumors are, of course, that there's going to be a debanking reform executive order coming out. I hope it comes soon. I hope it punishes any of this debanking stuff against political figures, conservatives, Christians, religious people, oil companies, and you name it. Can you tell us when this executive order is actually going to come out and give us a sense of how tough it's going to be?
Yes, well, as you know better than most, Larry, you've talked about it, you've covered it. We talk a lot about the weaponization of the justice system. but we haven't talked as much about the weaponization of the financial system. One of the worst features of the last 4 years under Biden and Democrat rule, but of course it also precedes that too, is the use of banking and access to the financial system to enforce a regime of censorship and political control, right? Like something out of a communist country. We all know stories of people who had their platforms, their financial platforms taken away from them simply because of how they thought or how they spoke or what their political beliefs were. As we've explored this and examined this as the White House, we found these practices are even more widespread than previously known. As you mentioned, they use this pretext of reputational risk as a basis for financial censorship, which is truly odious, truly un-American, truly dangerous to liberty in every sense. So,
guys, can you imagine that we're literally talking about this in America? That this has happened to American citizens? Like, this is crap that you hear out of the Banana Republic. This is stuff that you hear that happens in, like, third world countries. But yet, because there was no accountability and there was no oversight, these people got away with it. And only because Trump is president, we know all of it, that it was more widespread against conservative voices than thought before. If Kamala Harris would have won, God knows where our country would be. Jogo, thank you so much for gifting 5 TrueLife News memberships. Let's go. Guys, show Jogo some love in the chat. OG of the channel. I love it. If you got a free membership, show Jogo some love in the chat. Guys, I'm just thankful that we have pit bulls like Stephen Miller that aren't afraid to go after all the corruption. Let me know your thoughts in the comments because I really like this guy. I think he could do even more in our country.
Work closely with Secretary of the Treasury Scott Bessent on developing a financial enforcement mechanism to ensure that those who participate in the banking system are not debanking and financially deplatforming Americans as a result of their political beliefs. And we're hopefully going to have that product finished soon, and we'll be able to bring that to the president for signature. As he's identified, this is a top priority for him.
It's a wide range. You know, you're right. The weaponization stuff. I mean, the reputational risk. I mean, that could be anything. I mean, look what they did to President Trump. It was remarkable. He had banked at Bank of America or J.P. Morgan. All of a sudden, the banks turned him down.
Yeah, he's Exhibit A in the weaponization of our financial system.
Yep.
Look, if you can take away the ability of a person to do business, to engage in commerce because of what they believe, then we're not a free country. We're tilting towards, in that case, a Marxist economy or a totalitarian economy, but not a free market economy. Champions of freedom and liberty should abhor the idea that large banks can collude or act individually to strangle the finances of people they don't like simply because of what they think, what they believe, or who they are.
And the other part of it, Steve, and you're going to have a chance to change this, I hope. The Federal Reserve, which is the principal bank regulator, not the only one, there's the Office of the Controller of the Currency and the FDIC, all these regulators, you know, from time to time under Biden, what did they do? I mean, they debanked Christians. They debanked religious groups. They talked about ESG, which was a way of saying no lending to fossil fuel companies, oil and gas companies, because of this climate radicalism that they were pushing. They talked about you can't make loans to companies unless they pass certain DEI rules. And essentially, super affirmative action stuff. In other words, you got regulators who are over-regulating for political reasons. That's got to stop, too. I mean,
Guys, let me tell you this, because I hope that you appreciate what I'm doing with this, because I'm showing you some of the stuff that you probably had no idea about, but what happened. This is from Bloomberg, guys, in Breaking the Law. Bloomberg Law, okay? Trump did this for a reason. Did you know that in August 7th, an order requiring bank regulators to remove reputation risk from their guidance and training materials and identify banks that unlawfully denied financial services to customers. It says that financial institutions, at the behest of Washington agencies, flagged individuals who made transactions related to companies such as Bass Pro Shops, or peer-to-peer payments with terms like Trump or MAGA. Trump himself has claimed that JP Morgan, Chase & Co. and Bank of America rejected his business on ideological grounds. Imagine going and just literally going to like Bass Pro Shops, going to like conservative places and literally being flagged because you say Trump or you say MAGA. Like, this is the type of stuff, guys, that's happening. And this is why Trump did what he did. This is why this is so big. And it was happening right under our noses. They were trying to control us more and more. That's why they wanted to do the CDBC bill, guys, which if you don't know what the CDBC, it's where it's a digital currency where the government knows exactly where you spend your money, what you spend your money on, and then you can literally be targeted for how you spend your money. Like, this is the type of stuff that's third world country stuff, guys. But this is why I love the title. Trump debanking order puts banks, regulators in awkward spots. Well, you dang right it should, because they were just treating Americans a certain way because of their political beliefs. That is not America.
Yes, beyond debanking, it now becomes a regulatory and supervisory issue.
Yes, financial regulators and banking regulators who have embraced, whether it be DEI or anti-Christian bigotry or the ESG ideology, are all examples of using state power through either actual regulation or the implicit threat of regulation, which was pervasive during the Biden years, to get our banking system and our financial system to coerce this behavior that is flatly illegal. And that's how you end up with widespread ESG policies, illegal DEI and racial discrimination policies, and other discriminatory regimes all throughout our financial system. The left is very smart when it comes to this in a very sinister, horrible way. They figure out if they can get inside of the financial system, they can take radically unpopular ideals and shove it down the throats of the American people. Yeah. That's what we're fighting against. That's what we're fighting to reverse. And of course, this administration has been aggressive in using the Department of Justice to make clear that these kinds of policies, DEI in particular, which also a big part of ESG, are illegal and unconstitutional and impermissible in American society.
Let's go. One more. Put your economic hat on. I know you got one. You can pull it out of your pocket if you like. I am very concerned that the high interest rate policies of one Jerome Powell.
Oh, guys, and I've got what they're about to talk about. I got some amazing news to show you in just a moment, guys, because again, too, I told you, I'll bring you the breaking news, everybody. Guys, if you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, guys, thank you so much for your support. I got you.
Are blocking what should be a phenomenal Trump boom. Now, I know the president likes to play up the economy, and I understand business investment looks pretty good. I got that. But there are sectors of the economy that don't look so good. Interest rate sectors, interest sensitive. Housing's been in a downturn recession for a couple of years. And housing affects a lot of other industries as well. The car business softening, all right, down to 15 million in sales. There are other areas. Private jobs look have really moved down to stall speed, to quote Christopher Waller. And without question, the short-term interest rate is about, I don't know, it's at least 150 basis points too high, the Fed's rate. So question is now...
Guys, and if you don't know what 150 basis points is, I hate when they talk like that. 100 basis points means 1%. So if it's 150 basis points, it's 1.5% higher than what it should be. So right now, I think it's at like the federal interest rates are like 4.5%, 5%. So we'll drop down 1.5%. That's a lot. That's big. That's a lot of money. But I just want to give you that little insight. Thank you so much, Pepper Mom. Thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Guys, show Pepper Mom some love in the chat.
What's your assessment of the economy? Do you see the same things? I'm making a plea here. You know, I know we want to be rosy scenario, and I know that the one big beautiful bill is going to power a tremendous future economy. But I'm worried in the next 6 months, Stephen Miller, I'm worried. I'm worried about the stall speed for private jobs. I'm worried about the housing downturn. I'm worried about the automobile downturn. I'm worried about a bunch of things right now. And I see the Federal Reserve as really taking a very hostile position and essentially thwarting, stopping, or at least slowing down the Trump boom. Go ahead.
Right
be an
there,
economist.
guys.
Well, but first of all, as you remember, Larry, during the first Trump administration, President Trump built the strongest economy both in the history of this country and also, really, in the history of the world. And President Trump right now inherited from Joe Biden a dead, flatlined economy. It was a cardiac patient, there would have been no heartbeat. And he has systematically, in a period of just a few months, put in place the most ambitious deregulatory regime in history, the most ambitious pro-energy regime in history. We just got rid of, for example, the endangerment finding, which for those of you who are familiar with that issue, that is the gold standard deregulatory action. In other words, getting rid of the endangerment finding is the most pro-growth deregulatory action you could have in energy and the economy. Obviously, we passed the largest tax cut and reform in American history. We made expensing permanent. And of course, we instituted the enormous reshoring incentives both in that bill and then also combined with President Trump's tariffs and trade deals. Every single thing is in place, Larry, for the greatest jobs boom we have seen in our lifetimes. Of course, we've already seen, as you mentioned in your intro, American workers are gaining back all the jobs they lost in the Biden administration that went to illegal migrants. The only thing that is missing from this entire piece of this extraordinary economic renaissance is the fact that Jerome Powell has kept the interest rates too high, which, as you mentioned, has made it harder for young Americans to afford homes and get into the housing market. But let's not understate, Larry, just how much incredible economic policy has been injected here. The tax cuts, the expensing, the deregulation, the American energy, the historic trade deals. We have opened up so many markets for American exports, Larry, in the EU, in Japan, in Korea. I mean, this is a complete game changer for American manufacturing. Plus, the way the president is investing in and leaning into the industries of the future, like AI, like chips, like semiconductors. So we have a technology boom, we have an innovation boom, we have a manufacturing boom, and we're going to have the jobs boom that we've been talking about. So, yeah, we got to deal with Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve, but the fundamentals that President Trump has put into place are rocket fuel for this economy, and that's why we're seeing this incredible growth in jobs for American workers.
All right.
Let's go, guys. And again, it's working, guys. Look at this. Breaking news, guys. Federal officials signal possible interest rate cut. They're saying, is it the right time? You dang right it's the right time. This is what we need. We need to allow people to be able to help boost the economy, refinance their houses, refinance their cars, get lower interest rates. Why are we 38th down on the list for interest rates in the entire world whenever we're the #1 superpower of the world? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Chris Prez, OG of the channel, brother. Thank you so much for getting 20 TrueLife News memberships, guys. If you got a free membership from Chris, show him some love in the chat. This is big, big blessings, big, big giving, guys. We can't thank you enough for your support. Show Chris some love in the chat, guys. We're so thankful for him and the others that have given today, guys. I'm so thankful that we literally get to serve you every day with the top news, guys. I look forward to the show every single day. I love it that we get to just literally bring the truth to you. And what I'm about to show you next too is amazing, because I'm telling you, things are moving, guys. This is beautiful. Check this out.
All right, Fox News Alert now as we take a look at the markets with just a couple hours left in trading. The Dow is up 223 points. This says JP Morgan is now forecasting an interest rate cut in September and 4 more by the end of the year. Okay, so markets are taking all of this in. In the meantime, Charles Payne is here to make sense of this. Charles Payne of Making Money. Yeah. Because people are looking to make money in this environment. And it seems, even when we ran our very unscientific poll on our show Twitter account, what is most concerning to you right now? Is it prices? Is it employment? Overwhelming majority said it's interest rates coming down. Yep. So do you believe that this is the case, that we're going to see several cuts by the end of the year?
Absolutely. Everything changed on Friday morning at 8:30 when those job numbers came down and those revisions came down. Because right at that point, the consensus was September, there's maybe a 40-30% chance of a rate cut. Overwhelmingly, everyone sees that. Now, you talk about 4, that means there's going to be at least 150 basis point cut. That starts to add a sense of urgency. That really tells you, by the way, if the Fed has to do that, that will really be so damning for Jay Powell, you know, because his position anytime they have to do more than 25 basis points, it means that they're behind, right? It was sort of cement.
And again, guys, just for those that don't know the terminology, 25 basis points means 0.25%. 0.25%. So 100 basis points is 1%. 25 basis points is 0.25%.
The notion that, yeah, Jay Powell was late yet again. And to your point, why are there so many people care? This is what makes me so angry with the Federal Reserve. They always look at us as a whole nation. You know, small businesses, you know, we have to refinance under these higher rates this year. Many can't do it. They can't make payroll. So you have small businesses that are hurting. You have individuals that are hurting. We just got a couple days ago from the New York Fed delinquency rates. All of them are spiking. So it's one of these things that Main Street America needs. And now you're seeing more evidence in the labor market, which is one of their key jobs, of course, for the Federal Reserve.
Guys, again, good news. Things are happening. Interest rates are moving. We're finally getting some traction on that. And again, too, what I love is that when it comes to the accountability, guys, I want you to listen to this. When it comes to banking, the interest rates, all this stuff, it should all be fair. But now that we know what has happened and what Trump has called out, this is going to change everything. And because now it's being brought into Congress. Kathy Brewer, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Show Kathy some love in the chat, everybody. Say good morning, everyone. God bless this channel. God bless America. I love it. MAGA, baby. And welcome to the family, Martha Bobbitt. I love it. Show Martha some love in the chat as well as Kathy. Check this out.
During his interview on CNBC yesterday, when he said that J.P. Morgan Chase dropped him as a customer right after he left office, and he couldn't find another large bank that would take his hundreds and hundreds of millions, and in some cases, billions of dollars. Now, he reached out to J.P. Morgan for comment. They made clear they do not debank anyone for political reasons, but also said they support regulatory reform to prevent something like this from happening again. We also reached out to the Bank of America. We have yet to hear back from them. All right, joining us now with reaction, he is the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, and that is Jim Jordan. Well, if you look at the New York Post and our friend Charlie Gasparino, he said that the banks confirmed that this debanking did take place because of pressure from the Biden administration, banking regulators, and the Fed. So it either happened or it didn't happen.
Well, we know it's happened, Sean, because we've seen it before. I mean, banks they collect all kinds of information on their customers, and then they give the government access to that information. And we reported this in a report last Congress. After January 6, 2021, the FBI sends an email to Bank of America, says, we want all the credit card information, debit card purchases, credit card purchases of anyone who was in the Washington, D.C. area on January 5th, 6th, or 7th. And they asked for that information without a warrant, which is not how it's supposed to be. So we know what the government does, and then they collect all this information from the banks, and we found in our investigation that 14,000 government employees back in the Biden administration searched that database 3 million times. Information the banks has, the government's going in there and finding out things about Americans that they're not supposed to, again, without a warrant. And that is not how it's supposed to work in our country. You want to search through your stuff, your viewer stuff, my stuff, the people I represent, you want to go through our stuff, the government's supposed to go get a warrant from a separate and equal branch of government, not do what they were doing. And then all this leads to what you're talking about. Sometimes then they'll go, well, we're just going to debank these people after what the government's told us to do, what the government's asked for. We're just going to debank them. That's the process that frightens us all.
How do we prevent this from happening? And for example, you know, an institution like the IRS, as powerful as they are, how do we prevent them from not targeting conservatives? You remember back in the day, we dealt with that issue and conservatives.
Yeah, it all starts with leadership. You got to have the right guy in the White House and a guy who understands, like President Trump. I mean, look at what he's done. He first told businesses, he says, you need to start investing in America, and it's happening. We heard it today from Tim Cook and Apple. Then he said to universities, hey, knock off the nonsense, all the woke stuff, all the anti-Semitic baloney. That's changing. Now he's telling banks, you need to knock it off too. You can't just use, for political reasons, get rid of customers. You can't just turn information over to the government when they ask for it without a warrant. You can't do that. So it's all about leadership, and we have that kind of leadership now in the White House, and maybe just as importantly at the Department of Justice with Pam Bodney, Todd Blanche, and Kash Patel.
Do you believe there, with this grand jury, and I only got about 20 seconds, do you believe with this grand jury there will be indictments?
Relative to what Tulsi's brought forward,
yes.
on the Russia case, I think John Brennan is everything I can see. This guy changed the intelligence community assessment. It was at his prompting, and Clapper and these guys. So I do think there's something there. And God bless Tulsi, again, showing leadership, bringing this information forward, and then forwarding it on to, referring it to the Justice Department. So we'll see what Pam and Todd and the team there at the Justice Department do. But I do think there's problems, particularly with Mr. Brennan.
Guys, such big breaking news happening today, guys. Just, woo, this is nuts. If you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like today, thumbs up like button today, it has been insane, guys. I just want to say, if you're not subscribed, please consider joining our family here at True Life News, hitting that subscribe button. Today, we also announced, guys, our first sponsor of the channel. This is huge. You know me, guys. I bust my butt to give you the best show every day. We've been a channel for 4.5 years. I've been approached by so many people wanting to partner with us and sponsor because they see that we have a loyal community. We see that I don't play around when it comes to the True Life News family. But when I found out how hard it is to deal with Medicare, when I found out how many plans there are, when I found out all this stuff, from my own family, and then I saw this sponsor, I said, you know what? It's time to take care of our channel. Time to take care of the family on our channel, guys. If you are on Medicare, if you're 65 or older, this company, guys, I'm putting my name behind it, has literally saved seniors on average $1,100. Call this number right here. Tell them Joel sent you, True Life News sent you, and they're going to take care of you, guys. I personally have talked with them at a very, very in-depth. I want to make sure that anything that comes from our channel, you're going to be taken care of. So I just want to say thank you to everybody, guys, that supports our channel. Remember, as we continue to grow, we want to always be America first. We always want to do right by our people. And whenever you're a member or you give a super chat, we donate this money live on stream on the 22nd of every single month to a local charity. And we switch back and forth. 1 month, it's for homeless veterans. It's to help out veterans. The next month, it's for children's homes and things like that, because we want to be known for giving back. And when this community continues to give, guys, I'm so thankful and grateful for your support. I want to give some special love in the chat to Chris Prez for gifting 20 True Life News memberships. Show Chris some love in the chat. Guys, Robert Cash, George Masalis, Denise Clark, OG of the channel, Jogo, OG of the channel, Hammer of Justice, Tammy Ash. Thank you, Jogo, for gifting 5 True Life News memberships. Pepper Mom, Kathy Brewer, Martha Bobbitt, Deborah Webb. Thank you for your support. Show Deborah some love in the chat, guys. We're so thankful for your support. Remember, we just want to serve you every day with the top news. We appreciate you. Thank you for sharing and liking our videos. We love you, appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.